sleeping on your stomach bad. Sleeping on your stomach can keep your neck turned for a long time, causing.
Okay, guys, I'm just waiting for you guys to come in. I restarted my computer like a maniac, and now I have to wait for it to finish what it's doing. Got my notes ready. Supplies. Everybody, tell everybody come on in. Trying to make sure I have everything together in order to do this class. Today we are going to make dust covers for your candles. Dust covers that look like this that you could get custom made, but you can custom make them yourself. They fit. You could put any information on the dust cover, and I'm going to teach you how to easily create dust covers with your silhouette, or if you have a Cricut. I don't have a Cricut, so I could only tell you from silhouette, but I'm pretty sure it's about the same. And I'm also going to show you how to do like specialty jars or uniquely shaped jars. This one I had to play with a little bit, and just because I did the jar is a little thicker, so it covered the whole top and it didn't fit on the inside, so I had to do a few adjustments to this. But I will be showing you how to create the dust covers like this as well. This one is just a temporary one. This is what I did a practice run with the regular paper, and it's bendable. I just wanted to make sure all my measurements were accurate, and according to the paper, it's accurate. Now, what I do as far as the slits or the holes in the middle, I try to make my holes or my slits a little bit bigger so that sometimes you don't exactly get the center of the candle. Sometimes it moves a little bit. So if you didn't exactly get the center, or the wick placement is a little wonky a little bit, you could just have some leeway to mess around with it. And the same with the circle. So it's the same with the wick. Is the same thing I do with the wooden wick. I leave a little bit of space around it just so it could fit, just in case something happened. Maybe it moved a little bit and I wasn't paying attention, or sometimes your wicks move. So we just want to make sure that it is right there in the center and you have enough space in it. So you guys, where are you from? Let me know. Put something in the chat. Let me see what's popping. Is anybody talking? Let me see. Okay, I can see the chat. All right, I can see the chat. Just checking to make sure I can see the chat. Like I said, I reset my computer like a fool, and I need to load up all my programs. So I'm trying to wait to see how many guys are coming in. If not, I will start it and save the live to show for a later time. But yeah, that's basically it. And as soon as more people get in here, we can start it. If not, like I said, we'll start anyway. Some supplies that you're definitely going to need. You're going to need cardstock. I like to use cardstock, and you can use any kind of cardstock. You can use any color. You can use any texture. You can use any brand. Is there's no particular brand that I use, and it's up to you on the type of cardstock you want to use. Like, you may want to use something a little heavier so that you feel that you have a little bit more coverage on your candle, or you may want to use something lighter. It's totally up to you. It's your preference. So I just use generic cardstock that I get from Walmart because this is, I think, $3.99 or $4.99. So this worked out to be the better deal. Even though Staples sell cardstock as well, this worked out to be the better deal. So this is what I got. Staples are their cardstock is, I think, like $9.99. So any color cardstock that you want. Remember, we spoke about brands yesterday, so remember to highlight trees. We spoke about brands yesterday, so you want to make sure that the colors that you're using are on brand. Okay, or it goes with the feeling. You can also use the metallic paper, and you can get this at Michael's. Now this paper is really pretty if you want to have like a nice luxurious edge to your candle dust cover. Now you can print on these, and you can also put this in your silhouette as well, so you can use that kind of paper. If you have textured paper that you want to use and it's not in 8.5 by 11, and you want to print something on it, you can take the 12 by 12. This is textured cardstock, and I also got this from Walmart, and I think I got this for $3.99. You can take the textured, let me see if you can see. Can you see the texture? You can take the textured paper, cut this down, use the paper cutter, and cut it to 8.5 by 11, and then you can feed this into your printer. If you don't want any wording, or you don't need to print anything on your dust cover, you can just use the textured paper as the size it is, because your cutting mat is about, your cutting mat cuts a 12 by 12. So if you wanted to use this, you can just take the 12 by 12 and just put it on there just to cut your card, just to cut your dust covers. So that's the textured paper. And also with the textured paper, or any paper, if you wanted to leave it plain and you have like a little rubber stamper or something that you want to put on there, you can just take it and put your stamp right there on the top, and you don't have to worry about putting it through a printer. Also, if you wanted to print on black and just have like a foiled dust cover, you can take the black paper, print it in your laser jet printer, and this paper was one of the 12 by 12s, but I cut it down to an 8.5 by 11, so a regular sheet of paper. You put this through your inkjet printer, let the ink dry, then you grab your foil, put your foil on the top, and then you just put it through the laminator with the paper. And we did a class on that. When did we do this class? Did we do this yesterday or the day before? Either day. I think we did it the day before. I showed you how to use the foil to make your foil label, so you can do that with your dust cover. And it doesn't necessarily have to be white or something you can see, because once the reactive foil picks up on the laser printer, it'll heat up, and everything that you printed in the laser printer, even though you don't see it on the black paper, will pick up on the reactive foil. So those are all the things that you can use in order to do your dust covers. All right, so I'm waiting for my computer to continue session. Proceed. I wanted to share my screen so that you can see how to print the labels on how to cut the labels and design the labels. Now you can design your labels in not Maestro, because it doesn't give you the option, but you can design your label in like PicMonkey. You can design it in Canva. You can design it in Photoshop if you're good with Photoshop. But those 3 programs, I have not yet found that when I transfer my designs over to Silhouette, that they're not blurry. So I don't know how to make them be nice and crisp. So what you can do is you can design the the dust cover directly in the Silhouette program. So how many of you guys have Silhouette? How many of you guys have Cricuts? Or do you even have one of those cutting machines? Do you have something that you'd like to use? Or are you interested in purchasing one? I'm gonna use that. I don't think I'm gonna use my screen share on YouTube. I mean, on my computer. I think I'm just gonna move the screen, the camera to the screen so you can see it that way. All right. So, first things first, we want to, I did have my tape measure here. All right. First things first, you want to measure your candle. You want to know what size you're working with. So, and then you also want to pay attention to your shape. So, measure the candle. If you ordered your candles online, they usually have the size on the website. So then you could just use that as a point of reference. Um, but it's just that, it's just a point of reference, because if you use the exact size that they have on the website, it may be the exact size of the whole entire candle, not counting the inside of the lip. So your dust cover will not fit on it properly. So you have to play with it a little bit. And so I'm trying to stop saying So you get it in there, and you want to make sure that this fits. So you're going to print it out, cut it out, try it out first, and you have to make a few adjustments. So if you have to come down a little, scale down a little so that it can fit, scale it down a little bit, and then print it out again. You don't have to print it on cardstock. You could just print this on regular paper. Print it out again, cut it, and see if it fits inside. Once you get it one time, you basically, as long as you use this same type of jar, you basically mastered it. The only thing you would have to change are with the wording, or if you wanted to change the scent or something like that. Those are the only things that you would have to change if you already mastered the size of your dust cover. Now, right now, I offer candles in the oval. This is my men's candle, and so I have the oval dust cover. Plus, I also have the wooden wick inside, so that's different than the circle. So I have to provide a slit so that my wooden wick fits right on, and then the same with the circle. Put a circle big enough so that the wick can go right through. So these are my staple candle sizes. Or if I wanted to change any information, I don't have to change the size. All I have to do is change the information. So with that being said, I have my notes, and let's get into it. Again, measure your candle. You measure your candle, and like I said, a lot of the places where you order your candles from, they have the measurements of the candle. Start with that as your reference point. So you may have to scale down, but you just do a little at a time, and I will show you on the computer how to do that. We already spoke about the paper. If you missed it, I like to shop for my paper. I can shop for my paper at Michael's or Walmart, because Walmart has a better deal. Michael's have more options. You don't necessarily have to stick to an 8.5 by 11. You can venture out to do 12 by 12, because the cut and mat does cut 12 by 12. So if you're not going to put any wording, or if you're going to put your wording on, like maybe you're going to stamp it with a rubber stamper, or do heat embossing, you can do that with your rubber stamp without printing on it, so that you can use all of the 12 by 12. If you're printing on it and your printer does not print 12 by 12, then you have to go with regular size paper, and that is an 8.5 by 11. Let's see, your font. We're going to go back into fonts, because last night we were talking about branding. Hey, Kara. Last night we were talking about branding, and you want to make sure that you have consistency, continuity in everything that you're doing as part of your brand, as part of your company, as part of your story. So with that being said, make sure that you have your fonts in the particular program that you're using. So I'm using Silhouette, but if you decided that you want to design your candle in Canva or PicMonkey, make sure that you download your fonts into that. They have the options for you to download your fonts into that. If you're downloading your fonts from Silhouette, and it's in your computer. Usually it's just automatically in your silhouettes font library. So you want to make sure that you have all of your fonts, because you don't want to start changing them, because now you have to find something that's similar, or you have to choose something that's different because it did not fit. You didn't have your fonts available. So you make sure that you have all your fonts for your brand. Make sure that your logo is also there, because you're going to design from there. Like I said, I'm going to design from Silhouette. It's easier to design from Silhouette for me, because with Canva or PicMonkey, you have to do an outline of the dust cover, and you have to do a lot more work. So I decided that I don't have a line around my dust cover. I don't have, if the cut didn't come out correctly, I don't have extra lines and extra stuff on my dust cover. So I just cut directly from the silhouette, and when I print it out, the lines are not there, but it cuts right on point. You just have to make sure that your registration marks are on your paper. If you're using a shiny or metallic paper because you're doing like wedding candles or a specialty candle or something like that, and the metallic picks up in the sensor, it might throw off your sensor, and then your cut will be off. Hi, Naturally Mellow. Oh, okay, yeah. We're on East Side, Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, it'll throw off your sensor, and if it throws off your sensor, then your cut's going to be off. And you have to take. We did a tip on that yesterday. I think it was yesterday. We did a tip on it to cover your registration marks from your silhouette or your cameo with plain paper, so that your registration mark can be printed on that, and your sensor can easily pick that up. The next thing you need to do is decide if you want to make your candle covers generic, or you want to put scents on it. You can do basically whatever you want. You want to change them out, you want to do different colors for all of your candles, do that. If you want to do that, if you want to put different colors for the different scents, you can do that as well. You want to put backgrounds behind it, you could put backgrounds. You want to put artwork behind it, you can put artwork. Anything that you want to put on this dust cover, you can. I like to keep it simple. I just tell them, trim your wick and remove and discard before your first use, because you don't want people to try to put this on top of the candle while it's lit, so things like that. I know it seems like simple things that people should know, and you just want to make sure that you cover all bases, because people try to sue you for the smallest things or the most ridiculous things. Like, not to put paper on top of a lit candle, but they will act like they didn't know. And, oh my gosh, the candle went up in flames. Of course it went up in flames. You just put paper on top of the fire. So you just want to make sure you cover all your bases. So anything you want put on here, you want it to be generic, just make sure you just have the regular stuff. So if this is your generic dust cover, you could just print out a bunch of those and then just send them through the cutter, and then just store them for later. Also, I have here to be unique. Be unique with your dust covers, because somebody's going to see it at the top. Maybe you'll add something that makes people want to buy. So let's say if you had a tropical candle. So then you put like some tropical flowers, maybe a tropical drink, maybe a pina colada, maybe some pineapples, but you could put all of that in the top, and your label could still say simple, metallic, glossy, you know what I mean? It could just say simple and plain, and you can have all of that pizzazz at the top. So when your candle is laid out on a table at a craft fair, at a show, at a something, if your candle is laid out, they're automatic. Your eyes go to colors, eyes go to things that make them pop, things that make them dazzle. And so you have things at the top that make things pop. People be like, oh, they're going to pick it up immediately, as opposed to just having a white candle on the table with gold foil label on the outside. You understand what I'm saying? So it's kind of like you giving them a little extra, so they know exactly what that is. Oh my gosh, that looks like my tropical vacation. Oh my God, it smells just like that. You want to give people that. So if that's what it is, or even if you're doing something that's a bakery candle or it's some kind of sweet scent, Put that up there so people could get the idea. You're giving them the visual without busying up your label. Get it? So you can put sprinkles up there. If it's a bakery candle, you could put like ice cream cones. You could put the milky drip on there. You could put a drizzle on there. You could put so many things on there, and just make sure you know jazz it up so that when people see the top of it, they're like, oh my gosh, I love that. Oh my god. And there you go. That's how you extra selling point for your candles. Make sure that you stay on brand. You want to make sure that everything is in reference to what your feeling is, your aesthetic, because you want to make sure that all of your products on the table look cohesive. Even if they're not on the table and your customers purchase your products, you want to make sure that everything goes and flows together. Hey, that's a bar. Everything goes and flows together. All right. All right, let me see. So we touched on the 12 by 12 paper. Make room for your wick. Okay, so like I said, you want to make room for your wick, because if you perhaps, and we know we don't do that, right, ladies? We don't miswick our candles, but perhaps if something should have happened and your wick moved and it's not directly in the center and is off a little bit, off center just a tad, because you know how to wick your candles and you're perfectly centered all the time. You want to make sure you have a little leeway there. And you also want to do the same thing with the wooden wick. Let me see. If you don't have your fonts, if you still don't know what your fonts are, you are not subjected to stay with whatever fonts are on your computer. So if you want different fonts, feel free to go to like defont.com, go to Creative Market. Creative Market has plenty of fonts. Sometimes you have to pay for them. Defont, you don't have to pay for it. DAFONT.com. You don't have to pay for their fonts. You can download their fonts. If you want to give a donation, you can. Creative Market, they have sometimes they have font bundles. You can get different fonts, play around with those. And you can also go to fontbundles.com. I think that's the name of it. And they usually sometimes they have $1 font a day. You can buy $1 font when they have this sale. So you could basically do any of that to download your fonts, or you could just go on Google and see where you can get free downloadable fonts and download those fonts, or just look at them, type in your whatever it is that you want to put on your candle and see what it looks like, so that you have an idea of what it looks like in that particular font. You also can download icons. Now, as you can see on my thing, I have the Instagram and the Facebook. Those are the two that I use the most. And those icons, you don't have that in Silhouette, but I got my icons from cleanpng.com. Cleanpng.com. That website is a website that you can go to get clean, clear backgrounds, so that you can incorporate that into anything that you're doing, so you don't have the white background like a JPEG. And that is basically it. I'm going to start designing the dust cover, and I'm going to change the camera to the computer. And if anyone, I wish I could design your candle for you. If you make candles, design your candle. But I won't be able to test it. Like I can do your candle cover. I could put your name, I could put your logo and everything there, but I wouldn't be able to test it because I don't have that actual size candle. Thank you, Kara. All right, so let me see. I'm gonna have to let's see. And excuse this. That is bath bombs and all that other stuff when I'm making videos. and trying to edit at the same time. 1 second, son. All right, can you see that? I'm gonna move it around a little bit. All right. All right, I think that's good, right? You guys, can you guys see the can you see the computer screen? If you can, put yes in the comments so I know to continue on. Please put a yes in the comment if you can see my computer screen clearly. If not, and I need to move it closer, please let me know. Okay. All right. So, do most of you guys use circle candles, or do you have specialty candles? Like you use maybe the squares or jelly jars, or what kind of vessels do you use for your candles? I'm still moving it. And I took my cover off my computer, my webcam, so I could use that, but it still didn't work, so. All right, so let's start a new one. I'm gonna get out of there. Straight, and I've used jelly jars. Straight, how many ounces? All right, I'm still trying to figure this out. Tomorrow, hopefully, I'll learn how to share my screen and I'll be able to do it that way. All right. First things first. Designing our candle. This is where 9 ounce. Okay. This is where we're going to design the candle lid, and we're going to design it in silhouette. You don't have to. We're going to eliminate PicMonkey. We're eliminating Canva. We're going to go straight into the design right here. So what we want to do is we can start designing our candle lid. So let's say you have a circle. This is where I get my candle supplies from, or I get my jars from. And I go to candles and supplies to get my candle supplies because they are in Pennsylvania. So that's where I go, and I eliminate my shipping. So if I want to purchase a lot, and I usually do, I wait until I have my huge order, everything that I need to do, and I load up my truck, and then I come home with all of my supplies. So this is this is one of the jars that I use. This is the tumbler, the oval tumbler, and the measurements are right here. So the information that you would need from off of this jar is just the width. You need to know from here to here, here to here on the inside. So the website says that it's 3.5 by 2.5, but since I have tried this already, I know that it can't be 3.5 by 2.5. I had to make some adjustments in order for this to have fit snugly inside. 3.5 by 2.5 fit directly on the top, on the outside of this lid. So I had to trim it down a little bit. So I said, okay, so it's 2.5 by 2.5. Let me bring it down. And so I brought it down. I think I brought it down 10 each time. So I tried 245. That wasn't right. And I think I went down to 225. I may have. I got to check my measurements. But you just have to make sure that everything fits. And it's trial and error for the most part. But once you get it, you're going to have it. You'll never have to do it again as long as you're using that same particular jar. So I just wanted to come to the website to just give you a reference point as to where your measurements are. And I also use the 5-ounce for my little vanity candles. I use these 5-ounce straight sided jars. This says that the measurements is okay, so you don't need to worry about the height of the jar. We just need the diameter of the jar. So it says 2.58 inches, and we just need this to be 2.58 in a circle, right? So let's get into here and let's do it. Let's start with the circle. So we just go into the shapes over here, and we're going to add a circle. It may not be a perfect circle. We don't have to worry about that. We go right here in the top where it says width and height right here at the top. It says right here. We'll just change these numbers to 2.58. And you want to do that equally because it is a circle. So you want all of the sides to be the same. You don't want it to be an oval. So we have that in line. So the next thing we want to do, let's move this a little bit. All right. Wait a minute. I'm trying to just move it so I can make sure you guys can see. All right. So we have the circle here. I'll zoom in a bit. That'll be better. Are you guys taking notes? I hope you're taking notes. We're going to make another circle. This one is going to be the tab, and we're going to weld it together. So the size that I like to use for my tab is 0.50, so just a half an inch. So this is going to be 0.50 all the way across. And sometimes you don't get your numbers accurate, so you just go up to the top, and we want it to be 0.50. And then press enter. That's going to resize it for you. And then you just go back to your select tool, and then you put this wherever you want it to be. So if you want it to be on the side, you want it to be at this side, you want it to be diagonal, you could put it here. You want it to put it at the top, you want it to put it in the front, you can put it wherever you want. I normally like to put them right here, and I'm going to line this up to the edge of this circle. Yeah. And then, oops, we have the tab. Now what I'm going to do is take it and weld it together. That's going to eliminate that cut line right there. So you take that tab, weld it together. This does not have to stick out this far. It can go further in if you'd like. It does not have to be there. It's up to you. It's your dust cover. Design it the way you see fit. And now I'm going to take, select it. I like my wick hole to be about 0.25. So I'm going to put 0.25, and I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side because it is a circle, so you need to have them both equal. Wait a minute. Let me cut this one. All right. We're going to add a circle. All right, it's 102, 102. Ah! Here it is. 0.50, 50, enter. Oh, that's too much. That's the tab. It's 25. 25. 25, enter. And now we have the size that I want. Any questions so far? We're going to take this, center the entire thing. So it's all sent. This whole thing is centered. Yes. So it's all centered. Now, whatever other information that you want to add to this, you can add. So I am going to bring over my logo, and I have not yet discovered how to just bring something from your library over into this same thing that you're working on. It always opens up a new tab. So I'm going to go into my library, and I'm going to grab a logo. This is my old logo. Let me go into this logo because we talked about branding, and I was telling you how my font was very ornamental. And do you see all these tiny, thin scribbles? This does not show up. See how this looks good big? It does not look good when you bring it down. You have to know what the company's name is in order for you to understand what that says right there. So that is the importance of you finding a font that is legible, visible, that a font that you not legible and visible. A font that is that you can scale up or down. So you want to make sure that it looks the same if it's big or if it's small. You want to be able to read it. I'm not going to use that. Well, it doesn't. Yeah, no, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use my regular logo. Let's use this one. This is not my logo, but we're going to use this. We're going to cut this, bring it over to here, resize, put it at the top. Resize it, bring it down. You want it centered. Go up to the top. Like I said, I have a centering problem, so I'm always making sure that I align my stuff properly because it just never works out for me. Let me see. This is whatever. This one is a little messed up, but we're gonna roll with it. And now you just put whatever information you want to put on here. I'm gonna do what I normally do. I'm gonna say trim your wick. And I'm gonna change this into the font that is on brand for me. And my script that I like to use is Bresley. And now what you want to do, because Silhouette is going to automatically cut this, and to print this, it's automatically going to print it the way you see it. You're going to go right here into this little artist palette, and you pick the black ink or whatever color ink you want to put. Because when you print it, remember, this is the way it's going to print. So whatever color that you want to use, make sure you use that color. If you have colors in your color scheme that you want to use, make sure you use that. Stay on brand. So as you can see, there's still a little red there, and that would show a cut line. And let me just go right into the send really fast so I can show you what's going to cut. That would be something that would be cut. You don't want to cut that. So we're going to go back. We're going to the lines. Right here in the line style, we're changing the color to black because that's the color that we choose. And I'm going to resize that. Put that right there. Put the font here, the size the way you want it. That's a little too big. Right there is good. Now you want to center that. Let me see. You want to make sure that that's centered. Click that center and it'll move it for you. So it'll center it for you. Now your icons, if you're going to put your icons, you grab those two. There's also a few other things that I want to type on here as far as text. So I like to put remove and discard before first use. That way you throw it away. You're not putting it back on top of there. People that, are not tempted to put it back on there to save the candle or whatever they feel that they're doing with it. You tell them to discard it, throw it away, and you don't have to worry about that anymore. Okay, so now we're going to go into the font. I'm going to change it into my brand font, and this is Bebas new whatever that is. Bebas is the font that I like. And you can also, you see how much space is in between here? You can also take that and move this spacing up. So you go to line spacing right here in the fonts, line spacing, and you just bring it closer together or farther apart, however you want to do it. I like mine to be closer together. And now I'm going to change the color of the ink because this is the color I want it to be on my dust candle. My dust cover. And I'm also changing the outside of the line. So the lines, you go to line style right under the palette and make it the same color that you're using. Oh, I want to did I center it? No. And I'm going to go right here to center it. It's centered. Now we're just going to fit it to the dust cover. Make that as big or small as you want it. Just make sure that it's visible. Make sure that you can see it. Bring it to the center. It's centered. It can go a little smaller. Now I like to put my socials on here, my social media. So we're going to put my social media. I like to use Instagram and Facebook the most. So I'm going to put my @ name. My @ name is Bubble Babes on Instagram and Bubble Babes Bath Company on Facebook. Let me see. We're going to do the same thing as far as the font. We're changing the font. I want it to be centered. No, I don't want it to be centered. I want it to be right like that because I'm going to put the icons on the side. And the color ink that you want this to print out, make sure you change your line style. Change that to black. Resize. I'll bring this over here and I'll resize that a little smaller. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to make sure everything is centered again. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so that I can see how big to do my icons. So you go into the library and I'm going to find my icons. I forgot where they are. Oh, there they go. So I want Facebook and I want Instagram. And I'm going to cut that and bring it over to the label that I'm working on. Paste it there. And you want it as small as your font is so that it measures up. Okay. Sometimes I use the arrow because I feel like when I'm trying to grab it and move it, it doesn't go exactly where I want it to. And since it doesn't do that, I just go ahead and just move it with the arrow. I don't need that anymore. Add your other icon. Resize it. Ooh, that's big. Resize it. Okay. And bring it down here. It should kind of be in line with this one. Not kind of. It should be. That looks good. And then I'm put that there. So if you know that you're going to use this all the time, you can group this so that you can copy and paste this on another dust cover if you do different sizes. You can group this, and that way you can move it all at one piece. And you can copy and paste it into your other label. So that's what I did for this one. Let me zoom in a little bit. That's what I did for this label. I just copy and pasted it and put it in there so I don't have to keep resizing my icons. Center everything. Or if you want it to the right, wherever you want your stuff, you could go ahead. And then I'm just going to add my website. That's the last wording that I'm going to use. Same thing. Remember the line. Go to the palette. Change that to black. Oh, wait. Got to get out of that first. Change the inside to the color that you want it to be. Change the line color to the color that you picked. And we are going to make this smaller. But first, we want it to all be on the same line. So I'm going to move this out a little bit so I can get it all in the same line. The font I want it to be is Bebas. I could do this, or I like Georgia. Either one. And I'm going to make that small and put that right there in the center. How did you group it? Okay. So to group it, let me ungroup it and I'll show you. Highlight just this space. And right click. And then you'll see this drop down menu. And this drop down menu, I'm going to ungroup it. This is where you can group it, and this is where you can weld it. So you, hi Violet, how are you? This is ungrouped. See? And if you highlight just this space, don't get everything else. You just want to get this, right? So highlight and make sure you have all of them in there. You'll see there'll be little gray boxes right here where you can see that it grabbed everything. And then you right click it, press group, and now it's grouped. So you can move it together. Labeling frustrates me too. It is one of those things. But with the dust covers, this is something like once you get it, you get it. Once you figure out the style of a label that you want to use, once you have it, you could just change, like I said, change scents and things like that. All of the other information is stationary. It's going to stay there regardless. Your company name, your website, your social media, all of that's going to stay the same. So the only thing you're actually changing are the scents or whatever it is that you want to change. Maybe you want to put some wording up there. Maybe you want to put a prayer up there. Maybe you want to put an affirmation up there. Whatever you want to put on your dust cover, whatever change, just make sure that that one particular element is the thing that changes. Everything else stays the same. So if the bottom part of this is going to stay the same and I want to change this, all I have to do when I go into my label, because once we get this all together, we're going to group it together so we can move it all around so that we can fit as many as we can on one sheet of paper. But when you just have this one, because you could just leave it, just take this, highlight it, Like, okay, let me just do it so I can show you. So I highlighted this whole thing, not highlighted, but I grouped it all together. Now I'm going to press group, right? All of it is now, you see no more gray boxes because now this whole thing is now my dust cover. It's all together. So if I want to copy this and paste it, wait, I can do this as many times as I want in order to play Tetris and put it all on a piece of paper as many times as can fit so that we can print out as many dust covers as we can, right? So I'm going to get rid of this one for a second. I'm going to ungroup this, ungroup. And let's say this is the element right here where I say trim your wick. This is the element where you want to change. Let's say you want to say something like, this is I want to change the title. I want to change this to the name of the candle. So the name of this candle is At the Day at the Shore. I'm just making things up. Day at the Shore. So font stayed the same because that's on brand, right? And you just put it there. And if you want to make this smaller because it's too big and it doesn't fit. It fits when you say trim your wig, but it doesn't fit when you put Day at the Shore. No worries. Just take it, resize it, and then recenter it. And there you go. Now, if you want to put an element there like a photo, or you want to put a background, or you want to put something on this so that it's not plain, you can do that. So you can go to Etsy, you can go to Creative Market and download digital papers, and you can use that as your background if that's what you'd like to do. It's not necessary, but or if there's any pictures in here that you want to use. I think I have a seashell or something in here. Yeah. Oh, let's use a seahorse. So I'm going to take this seahorse. I'm going to cut it. Bring it over to the label I'm designing. Day at the Shore, right? Paste that. It's super huge. We're going to resize it. And it does have a white background. So maybe we can just throw this into the background and you don't have to worry about detaching your background because it's white. Let's see. There you go. All right, so you don't have to worry about this. So if you're printing on white paper, you don't have to worry about that. If your background has the white background on it, you don't have to worry. But if you are printing on a different color paper, you don't want that to show and you don't want it to be it'll leave a block there. You just go into the trace tool, trace it, trace and detach, and then you'll just detach the white piece. Can you see that right there? You just detach the white piece. Okay, I'm trying to go back to read your comments. One sec. Okay, so labeling frustrates me. Got it. I'm fine. It's good to hear, Violet. I'm glad I finally get to talk to you here. Let's see. Super mad. I've had to be in and out of this live tonight. I'm gonna leave it up so you could go back and listen to it and take notes, and then you can do it at the same time that I'm doing it so that you can reference everything at the same time. Hi, my friend, my beautiful sister Leslie. How are you? I might be too close to my mic because the phone is right in front of me, but I'm sorry if I am blasting you guys in your ear. Okay. So, oh wait, Control Z. So what happened was it needs to be grouped because when I detached it, I detached the elements. So I'm going to bring it here and I'll put that there, right? And do I want two of those? Do I want to add something else? Totally up to you. I'm going to just take this, I'm going to copy it, I'm going to paste it and flip it. So now they kind of facing each other. I have a thing about facing each other. I have no idea. My ducks face each other. I just have this thing. They have to do it. Doesn't have to be symmetrical because I don't do anything symmetrical. But there you go. So let's say this is what you wanted. There you go. Now we're going to go into the send and we're going to see what's going to cut, right? So we go into send. Now anything that's red here is going to cut. So good, it's letting me zoom in. All right. Everything in this area here is going to cut. That's not what we want, right? We don't want this to cut. Only thing we want cut is the outer edge and the hole for the wick. So tap what you want not to cut. You click on it and then you go over here under tool number 1 and it says no cut. Go to no cut. And so now you don't see it highlighted in red anymore. That means that that's not going to cut when you send it to the cutter. So we're going to do the same with everything. So we're no cutting on everything. And just click it. You'll see a gray box around it. You may not see it here on my computer, but it's a gray box there. I can see it. No cut. No cut. Everything else is going to cut. So we're going to go back into design because this is the way we want it to be. You don't want to go back and go to every one that you copy and paste and have to go back in no cut, no cut, no cut. That's going to be tedious and it's going to take too much time. And it doesn't even make sense when you could eliminate that process. So let's say we're happy with this design. I'm going to spread this out a little bit more. So I'm going to go back into the text style and I'm going back into the line spacing and I'm going to space it a little further away from each other because I don't want it to look jumbled. Now we're going to back up a little bit. Since we need to print this in our printer first, we're going to put the registration mark. So we go to the top right here on the page setup panel. Click that. In the page setup, we're going to go to the last one where it has the registration marks. And you want to put your registration marks on. Click those on. And then you can just leave it right here. But if you want to maximize your printable space, you're going to go to inset and you're going to move that all the way over to the left. So as you can see, it moves the registration marks further out, and these gray boxes right here, they usually tell you do not put your graphics in there because you don't want your registration marks to get confused with something that you have in your graphics. So oops, it's not grouped. Group that together one more time. Okay, that's together. And now we can move it. And now you just play Tetris with your dust cover and see how many you can fit on here. Now, sometimes they don't necessarily have to be the way you have them here. They can be sideways. You can, if you feel like it'll fit better if it's this way, then turn it that way. When you cut it, it doesn't matter. It's going to be whatever orientation you put it in. You know what I mean? So it doesn't even matter. So this is what we're going to do. I'm not going to put a bunch of these because I wonder if I put 3. No, it looks like that's going to be it. All right. So you just mess with it and see how many you can put in there. And fill it up. And fill this thing up with as many as you can cut. And you want to make sure you have some space. You don't want your red lines to overlap. If your red lines overlap, that means your cutting is not going to be correct on your, or accurate in your cutter. You're going to cut into the label, which you do not want. So you want to make sure you have enough space, but not too much space, so that you can add as many labels as you want. That's not going to fit. But then you just play around with it a little bit. But I'm going to just leave it here because I don't actually have a candle cord day at the shore. But I'm going to just leave it there for demonstration purposes. All right. So I'm going to take my cardstock and I'm going to just use regular white cardstock. And print this out. You don't need to use a laser printer. You can use your regular printer. I'm going to print that out. And you want to make sure that your quality is in pretty decent shape. You don't want to do a draft in your quality because you want it to still be good quality when you're printing. So I'm going to just check my preferences. I'm going to make sure that the paper is accurate. Plain paper is fine. Normal is fine. Don't do draft because that's going to give you like a very light ink on your paper, and that's not what you want. You want it to look nice and rich. So either do normal or best. I'm going to do normal because it's just for demonstration. And then we'll take our cutting board, cutting mat. Here's a little tip for you. If your cutting mat is not sticky anymore, or if it, sometimes you don't put the plastic on it immediately, or even if you don't put the plastic on immediately, sometimes little particles and things get onto your mat, and you'll have like little dust particles or little hairs on there. What you can do is just wash it with soapy water and pat it dry with the paper towel, or you could just let it air dry. So from here, let me just make sure. All right, from here, I'm going to line up my paper onto the silhouette mat. Well, this is not a silhouette mat. This is actually a Cricut mat. And I think the silhouette mat is clear. So you have to line it up a little. Make sure that it's completely even on this side right here. Because if it's not, then your cut is going to be off. All right, that looks accurate. Press it down. And I'm about to send it to the machine. This is my little note from Jalen. He said, when we leave, I miss you, or something like that. That's what my note says from my nephew. He wrote this for me years ago. I still have it on my computer. All right, so we're going to send. And choose your medium. Mine is cardstock, so we're going to go into cardstock. And I'm going to go to 4 because sometimes it doesn't cut the whole thing. So I'm just going to make sure that I get a die cut out of it. So I think I go to 4 or 5. I'm going to go to 5 just to be sure. And send it. Are you making chocolate milk? You need to make chocolate milk. Yes, make sure you drink chocolate milk. No, I'm focused on you. Drink chocolate milk. Oh,
I wanted to show you.
I found my bottle with my alcohol that I was looking for to put my labels on.
They did not see me do that.
Yes, I seen it in the shot. It's this.
I'm looking at the camera. You didn't hit the thing.
Everybody, my son, who's the reason why I started this business, is here.
Got that right.
Oh, please.
Are you live?
Yes, I'm live.
Can I show you a video?
No, I'm live.
Good.
No. I said hello to my son and inspiration. He won't let me live it down. He says he's the reason why this business is thriving, although he does nothing for this business.
I'm the reason it happened, so therefore I did something.
All right, so my labels are finished, and we're just going to peel this off. Look at that, nice and clean. This is our dust cover. And let's try it out. Although, before you do this, you want to do it one time in your printer first to see if it fits. And it's perfect. They can see your face.
No, they can't.
Yes, they can. They sure do take all the glory. All he had was eczema. I did the rest of the work. So, there you go.
All I had was eczema.
Yes. Before, let me turn this around. Now I'm super, super, super close. Okay. Yes. All right. This is not staying up. All right. So now I'm holding it. Before you copy and paste a million of these on a piece of paper, you want to do a test print to make sure that it fits. If it does not fit, you want to scale it down just a little bit and then reprint it again and then cut it again so that you can ensure that it fits. Like I said, you only need to do this one time, and then all you have to do is change the information inside. You don't have to measure anything again. You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to even be creative. All you have to do is just interchange your information. Stink, can you do me a favor?
What type of favor? Please.
I need you to get me one of those. Where are you?
Upstairs.
I will show you the dust cover that I made in PicMonkey, because you need to see the outline so that you can trace it in Silhouette. You like doing a job twice. So instead of doing a job twice, we did the job once and we just designed in Silhouette. Does anybody have any questions about designing in Silhouette, or just any questions about dust covers at all?
What does your favorite consist of?
Can you please?
What does it consist of?
Oh, I thought you said, what is your favorite? One of those dust covers on top of the candles right there. No, just the thing that's on top.
You just printed out multiple.
I know. You see, this one has the lines on the top, on the outside, and that is why, can you get off the table? That is why you could see the lines here. Now, I could have made this line white, but I don't think I would have been able to do the outline when you have to trace this shape with Silhouette. So I like to create it in Silhouette. That way I have no lines. It's nice and clean and clear, as opposed to this. And that is it. That is how you create your dust covers in Silhouette. If you have a square, you do the same thing with a square. If you have a candle with multiple wicks, then you measure out with your measuring tape how far each wick is. You put the holes where the wicks are. You're loud. I'm gonna knock my son out. And you just put the holes where the wicks are and try it out, print it, do a test run. If it fits, produce a bunch of them. If it doesn't fit, scale down a little bit or scale up a little bit, depending on if you were accurate with your measurements. Remember, your measurements are going to be on the website that you purchase that you purchase the vessels on. So the measurements will be there, and use that as your starting point, and then sink. Use that as your starting point, and then you move things around. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Do you have any if you have any problems, period, when you're doing it, you can reference back to this video. I said I'm going to keep it up. Yeah, I'm going to knock that boy out because he seems to be making all the noise that he possibly can.
I didn't even make noise.
I don't even understand how he made noise with a fork that was touching nothing. But he did. So, go back, reference the video, and see if you need to go with me step by step. That way, you know, you don't go too far ahead and have to keep rewinding. You can just do it as I do it and go together, and you'll be able to get it out. You'll be doing this in no time. This is quick, simple, and easy. And that's that. So you guys, I hope you have an amazing night. I will be back tomorrow. Please subscribe. If you're not subscribed, please hit the notifications bell so that you can be notified when I do new videos. I am going live all this week. I'm going to do computer stuff and decorating stuff, packaging stuff this week. I got one more day left. And next week I'm going to probably do, we'll be making products. I got my silhouette. Oh, my first silhouette. Where did I get my silhouette from?
You bought it.
No, I didn't. I got it from a friend named I got it from a friend who bartered with me, and I
from Brandon, and then you got it from that guy.
I didn't get that from Brandon.
I
got the heat press from Brandon. My silhouette I got from somebody who bartered with me, and he didn't know how to use it.
Oh.
So I knew how to use it, and I kept it. He said I could keep it, so I did. And that's where I got it from. But they have them in Michael's. They have them in Hobby Lobby. You can get them online. You can also go to Silhouette. I think it's Silhouette America. And you can get it there. And they also have bundles so that you can get bundles from there. And it'll have like the cutting mats. It'll have like probably some of the cutting tools and the scrapers and things like that. You'll be able to get that from there. Any other questions? If you have any questions after this video, like if you're watching and you're like, oh shoot, I should have asked her this. So if you have any questions, just put it in the comments of this video, and I will come back and check the comments of the video. Not during the live, because for some reason when I went on my computer I couldn't see the live comments. So not on the live comments, but after this video is over, put it there, and then I will answer you there. So with that being said, I hope you found this video to be helpful, and I thank everybody for coming in and watching. I will see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. I do not know, I think I'm going to do packaging and how to keep your candles cool in transit. I think that's going to be my video for tomorrow. So I'll do decorating and packaging so that you can see how to keep your candles from melting in the heat, and also to be durable when they are going from place to place. And I love you guys so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You all have a good night. Mwah. See you later. I did.
Who is